Okay. Oh, okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for making it here in the snow and the ice. Who would have thought that's what we were going to wake up to? So welcome to Lake Harriet Spiritual Community, and also welcome to those of you that are joining us virtually. We are a diverse community that explores global consciousness and the connection with the divine. Okay. So you can find out more about us at lakeharrietspiritualcommunity.org. So this is our 9 o'clock service, and at 9 o'clock we do experiences. And what I do is talk, movement, and meditation, because we all assimilate things sort of differently in our mind. Some of us just hear with our ears and our mind, and others need to feel it with our body, and so I sort of just shake it all up. So we're going to talk on the topic for about 8 minutes, and then move for about 5, talk for 8, move 5, talk for 8, move some more, and then we'll end in a meditation. And after the meditation, there's kind of a cool YouTube that you might want to open your eyes for and watch. Okay. So the theme of the month is a culture of creatives. So when we think of the word culture, we think of a way of life. We think of shared intellectual property and information, and music and culture and food, and all kinds of diverse things really make up a culture. It's not just the first 4 words of the word culture. Those first 4 words are very closed and insular and sometimes scary. Culture is wide open. It really can break things open. So when you think of the Latin culture, it's really hard to define, because you've got folks from South America and Spain and Mexico, and the foods are different and the music's different. It's very diverse. It's very open to change. Creatives, then, when we think of creatives, we think of individuals that think out of the box, right? They're innovative, they solve problems, they're gifted sometimes, and they sometimes study to take things to the next level. So then when we combine the culture of creatives, then, we've got a group of people with just really a lot of juice going on, right? They have taken their knowledge, their studies, their intuition, and they might work together towards a dream, solving bigger problems, solving little problems, but it is something that's expansive, and it grows and it builds upon each other. So there's a story of 4 coworkers, and they're all very well accomplished people in their own profession. And they were driving to a seminar, and they were going down a hill, and the brakes gave out. And they go down, 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 down faster, and by some miracle, they come to a screeching halt just before they're about to go 1,000 feet over this cliff. Okay, so they very gingerly get out of the car, and they're trying to figure out what to do next. So the engineer said, well, we could pop open the hood and see if we can fix it. And then the other one, that was a black belt in total quality management, said, well, we could do an analysis and develop a plan. And then the other person, who's a programmer, said, we could take this and push it back up the hill and see if it does it all over again. And then the innovator said, man, we just came up with a great idea for a new amusement park ride. So that's what a culture of creatives does. They come together, they harness their energy, and they build upon each other. So some say that culture is a shared way of doing things with passion. It's the blood that flows through our veins to our work. And that creativity is that structure of magic. And it harnesses the juice so that it flows through our voices, our hands, and ourselves. So music is a great example. When we think of musicians, we really think of culture and creativity. And even within music, there's different kinds, right? So the old classical writers, Mozart, Stravinsky, those from Germany and Russia, kind of look at music as a way to express their anger and conflicted feelings, okay? Ba-ba-ba-bum, okay? And then when you think of the Cuban culture and their music, theirs is kind of, very playful, and you just kind of want to dance to it. And when I was a kid, I had the advantage of growing up with I Love Lucy. Does anybody remember that show? Desi Arnaz, okay? And he was a Cuban musician. And not only was he creative, he emigrated from Cuba and did all those things that immigrants have to do to survive, but then he teamed up not only with a Cuban band, but with Lucille Ball, so a comedian. So you have two people now in the entertainment industry that are just creating magic, and I absolutely love that show. And then when they had a kid, right, they had little Ricky kind of on his bongos playing as well. So they created a culture of creatives through all of their connection. So musicians have this ability to accomplish a lot just because we love what they do. Musicians are very inclusive. They like to jam with all kinds of different people with all kinds of different abilities, okay? They invite people in for those jam sessions. They collaborate with others, okay? You might have a Latin musician that also studied Aretha Franklin, who has also studied Engelbert Humperdinck and whoever else, and then they've created this great fusion kind of music. And musicians also have done a lot to get together across the world for humanitarian purposes, to sing around the world for peace, to sing around the world to help for whatever disasters happened in the world. They have really taken it to another level. So having talent is genetic. So we all have that ability. It's what we do with it. It's what we do with it that really matters, because our life is a work of art. So some say that to merely observe a culture without really participating in it is close to existing as a ghost. So every child, when we are born, is highly creative. And we're an emotionally free artist. We don't have any of that junk that we're sticking to anymore. The problem is, and the challenge is, remaining that way when we grow up. To abandon expectations, to stretch definitions, to listen to new ideas, to open our eyes, and be open to new experiences. And if we feel stuck on how to contribute, maybe that's a sign that it might be time to help recreate ourselves. And it's not difficult developing new ideas, but escaping from the old ones. So we're going to do our first movement, and as many of you know, the first movement that I usually do helps us to get rid of what no longer serves us. So I'm going to ask you to stand up and spread out. And let's start out with a strong stance, feet slightly apart, knees slightly bent, hands at the side. And we're going to stand strong in the stream. We are strong, creative individuals. And I'd like you to think of 1 to 4 things that you might want to get rid of that no longer serves you. Now, just doing this isn't going to get rid of it, but symbolically, it might help start you on your path. So let's slowly lift our arms as we're thinking of the first one. And we're going to create a bow and arrow. So look to one side And point to that while we're pulling back with the other arm, and we're going to stretch. Because Qigong is also about moving energy, stretching, and also the nurse in me says we gotta wake up anyways. So we're stretching and we're going to pull on that bow and release and shoot. And we're going to come back to center. We're going to think of the next thing that might not serve us. And the same motion, we're going to stretch and release. And now we're going to point up at what no longer serves us and stretch and release. And one last time, the other side. And stretch and release. And now we're going to take our two hands and do a little bit of top to bottom tapping on our head, just to help get rid of stuck energy, get that chi energy going. Try to get rid of that monkey brain that stops us when we're overthinking, when we don't let our hearts open up and we're just thinking with our heads. Just let it flow. Open up the chi, open up the energy all around the scalp. Just tap. And let that blood flow from the brain down your spine, down your body, opening up all the pathways of your nervous system. And we're going to go down now to our thymus, right here. Oh, thymus has a lot to do with T cells, the immune system. Oh, also, it's kind of close to what helps us make sound. Sometimes we hold back on our speech. Just let the air flow. Let the air flow. Let that immune system flow. There's snow out there. It's cold season. Just let everything flow for your health and your well-being. And down to the belly, where anger sometimes fits. Let go of whatever anger might be there so that you can release your creativity. And from the belly to the kidneys, tap those kidneys. The kidneys is what helps get rid of toxins. And on top of the kidneys are the adrenal glands where your fight or flight hormones are. Oh, release those. Get that chi going there. And off the kidneys and shake those hands. And shake off of you any other junk that exists. From your heart down your arms, just get rid of that junk. Just get rid of it. Ooh. And if you want to shake a little, keeping those feet on the ground, staying safe, just get rid of what else no longer serves you. And a little slower, hands above the head, and bounce from the tops of your fingers down to your feet. Release anything else to Mother Earth, because Mother Earth can handle it. She'll turn it into soil to nurture us, to help us grow, to grow the food we eat. Come coming full circle. And slowly bring your hands to your heart. Healing your heart with love. And I encourage you to have a seat. So, Einstein said, intelligence is having fun. So we live in a world with personal relationships. And creative culture builds human connection. We share moments of inspiration. And it's not necessarily new inventions that need to happen or that do happen, but sometimes it's what's already been said isn't enough, or what we've experienced needs to be expanded. So when we're highly creative, we see connections among each other and our life experiences. And we process those moments. So at our 10:30 service, our speaker is going to be Barbara With. And she and two other women, Lily Phelps and Teresa McMillan, were very good friends. And they had a common experience. They were living life on this earth. And they also, because they lived life on this earth, also experienced conflict. So they decided to get together and in their living room hold group sessions and talk about conflict resolution with friends. And they were also highly intuitive women, and they also started doing readings. And then it turned into podcasts. And then they wrote a book called Diaries of a Psychic Sorority. So what they did grew, and it helped many other individuals. And it was very simple. So it's something that we all can do. So we're in community and in culture with our family and our friends, but a lot of us have to make a living, right? So then we're also in culture and community with those people that we work with. And I was very fortunate. My first 10 years was actually taking care of patients as a real nurse, and I got to be in all kinds of diverse settings, from university settings to research to transplant to everyday stuff, and got to actually travel the world with Operation Smile and work on kids in Vietnam and Morocco and Nicaragua, and it was just a wonderful experience. And then I switched gears and started working for healthcare startup organizations. And so over a 30-year period of time, there were about 6 organizations. And I don't know if you've ever worked with startup organizations. They were solid organizations, but it was working with creative people. So these were individuals involved in healthcare in some way. Could be, yes, nurses and doctors, but it was insurance companies, it was large employers that were also paying for health care, it was certain pockets within the government, it was lots of individuals along the way, and the goal was to look at improving the cost and quality of health care. It sounds a little boring, but it was really fun, because what we had was people who were normally in life competitors. You know, you're competing for patients. You know, you're competing. You want to save money, but you want to spend money. You know, it's all those competitive forces. And we got together in those organizations to collaborate on things, to collaborate on various things and figure out how to gain consensus when doing one thing might hurt somebody else. And so how do we do it in a way where everyone benefits? And it was a wonderful, wonderful experience for me personally, because I think it also helped open me spiritually. And if you read Forbes magazine this year, Minnesota is ranked as number one in healthcare in the United States. And I think a lot of it has to do with that creative culture, even within healthcare. Now, the World Health Organization rates the United States not number one, but that's a whole other different talk that I've done on a regular basis. But there is a culture within Minnesota and healthcare, and I'm so glad to have been part of that. So it's people with diverse yet similar needs that creates a richness in our society. And the beauty of the world is the diversity of its people and our collective strength, and that's what helps and benefits all of humanity. I also had an opportunity to travel to Italy, and we toured Pompeii. And Pompeii was this wonderful culture, 700 BC, and they engineered so much that seems so much even further ahead than we are today in engineering. And they had a culture of also going out. And so when you visit, you could see all these little cafes that sort of existed. It was really hard to believe how innovative they were. And then nature came along and a volcano destroyed it. Okay, I also had an opportunity to go to Alhambra in Spain. It's another place that was very innovative. The way that they build the aqueducts and their structure took advantage of the sun and the water. They created electricity in some ways, although not the electricity that we know, just by dealing with nature and how things already flowed. That was stifled, and some might say destroyed, by humans. The Dark Ages happened. There was war, there was infighting. We had kings that said that they were acting on behalf of God for the peasants. And all the money went to the church, it went to the royalties, and there really wasn't much innovation. Things were stifled. And then the Black Plague happened. And then we had the kings and the peasants. Many of them died. And then something new emerged. Something new emerged. Very quietly and very slowly, the Renaissance started to emerge. And slowly then, we had individuals that quietly started investing their time and their money on education. And the wealth moved from the church and the dogma of the church to individual scholarship, individual achievement. And we had folks like Da Vinci and Michelangelo that came forth. And then explorers. And then we started inventing things. So we allowed then the people to emerge. So we discovered the printing press, right? So it allowed the masses to be able to be exposed to the news instead of just an insular group of individuals. The compass, so that we could travel outside of our own little insular communities. The pencil and affordable paper, so that it was not just the nobles that could write on that very, very expensive paper. And the development of ships, so that people could explore the world. So the explorers then emerged out of that and discovered, however we want to describe that, at least moved outside of Europe and went to other parts of the world. So Mahatma Gandhi says that no culture can live if it attempts to be exclusive, if it attempts to hold other people down. And we need to be aware, because we don't have to burn books to destroy a culture. We just have to get people to stop reading them. So art takes various forms. And some say that a painting really is never finished. It just stops in interesting places. And then it's up to others to continue it. So cultures thrive when we pursue creativity in all dimensions, in life especially. And life shrinks or expands in proportion to our courage, our openness, our awareness, our consciousness, and our heart. So I encourage you to stand up for our second movement. So the first movement was about getting rid of what no longer serves us. The second movement, and we'll start out the same way, feet slightly apart, knees bent, the tree standing strong. This time we're going to connect. We're going to connect to all of those things and all of that energy that helps build a culture of creatives. Deep breath. Slowly move up those arms. Reaching out in front of you. Exchanging energy with all that is ahead. Opening those arms wide as they can go, pushing out our hearts to connect with all the love there is in the world. Allowing it to enter you and emanate from you. Arms up towards the universe. Exchanging light with all that we cannot see. And we're going to take our hands and point them to our head, shining that light brightly onto us. And slowly moving that light down the front of our body, making sure your knees are still bent, because we're going to take a deep dive here. And once it's at your waist, your hands are at your waist, bend down from the waist slowly. If you need to spread your legs just a little more to be stable. And we're going to go down as far as we can. And if you can touch Mother Earth, that's great. If you can only wave at Mother Earth, that is wonderful too. And connect with the energy of Mother Earth, the nurturer, the provider of food, giving thanks to all that we have. To life on this earth and to be able to create. Now slowly come up with your palms facing you, your fingers down, kind of soft hands. Slowly come up, spreading that energy all through you from your feet, belly, all the way up. And we're going to go in a big circle, spreading light all around us. And with one hand and the palm facing the earth, and the other hand palm up, facing the heavens, we're going to allow ourselves to be a conduit of creativity from the heavens to the earth, and from the earth back into the heavens. Growing a culture that gives, that unites, that expands, that grows. And we're going to exchange hands and do just the opposite. Qigong also is about balance. The other palm down facing Mother Earth, and the other palm up towards the heavens. Being a conduit. Of creativity, all that has not yet been experienced or experienced in new ways, experienced for good. For consciousness, for humanity, for peace. Slowly bring your hands together and back to your heart. Harnessing it all. Okay, I invite you to have a seat. So, if we're to preserve culture, we need to continue to create it. It's a gift to the future. So David Spangler said, truly successful manifestation is one which brings about a change in growth or consciousness, or reveals God more fully to evolve ourselves. So besides a culture of creatives, there's also been a culture of spiritual creatives that have evolved, right? And probably many of us are here because we've read some of their readings. And just to name a few, Eckhart Tolle, Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, Carolyn Myss, Thich Nhat Hanh, Dalai Lama, Louise Hay. And many of the individuals within this room. We come here in this space to experience some of the things that happen Monday through Friday at night, or sometimes at the Sunday service here, to expand our consciousness, right? I, in my 20s, had another wonderful opportunity to experience a family. And these friends of mine were the same age, mid-20s, and their parents created a culture of creatives within their own family. And the mom immigrated from Iraq. The father immigrated from Germany, and they met in Michigan. And when they married, they made a commitment to explore all that this beautiful country had to offer, all the freedoms that it had to offer that they didn't have in their previous countries. And they got to read and study the works of Rudolf Steiner. And Rudolf Steiner was way back in the 1800s, okay? So not 1970, but the 1800s. And he was also a spiritual and philosophical creative. And actually, the Anthroposophic Society used to meet here on a regular basis. But even back then, there was talk about expanding consciousness and doing all you can with your life to help the environment, to experiment with ideas, music, knowledge, etc. And the Waldorf School was created from that Rudolf Steiner way of thinking. And the Waldorf School is sort of a Montessori school on steroids. And their children then went to the Waldorf School. And they were very, very creative people. And I loved being with that family because they were just free-floating thinkers. I mean, they were just a lot of fun. And not only did they believe in education, but they also believed in travel. So they didn't have much material goods, but they really believed in sending their kids off to learn in other countries and learn other cultures. And then once the kids were adults, they said, okay, now self-actualization is important. We'd like everyone to go to therapy. Now, it was optional, but they went to therapy over a long period of time, and it was tough stuff. But then watching this family be now open in another way. They could give each other all kinds of crap about each other's stuff and laugh about it and not break down into this, oh, we can't talk about it or else, everything's going to go to heck. No, they were all able to talk about politics, their own faults, their own anything. And it was just amazing. And I learned so much from that model. And before they passed away, the parents, they wanted to leave legacies. And so they wrote letters to their children and others, and I was a happy recipient of a couple of those letters. And, they're the kind of legacy things that when you're in your 20s, you only understand a little, and when you're in your 30s, you only understand a little. So you could kind of go back to those things and keep learning and growing. So there's a way for us throughout our lives to keep passing on what we have learned to others, to keep the learning going. So culture is the widening of the mind and the spirit. And the widening of the spirit is the opening of our hearts and our connection to God. And that helps turn on our creative playfulness. And if we keep that channel open with creativity and with that spiritual energy, and we share this with ourselves and future generations, we have this ability to be a perpetual playmate with God. So our last movement, let's play. I encourage everybody to stand up. And our usual stance. Strong, feet slightly apart, knees slightly bent. That strong tree standing in the river. Strong, steady. Taking a deep breath. Raising up our arms. And we're going to flow. Going to look to our right, open our eyes, see what we see. beautiful stained work glass. Move to the other side, see what we see. And back again, and take note of that beautiful mosaic in the ceiling. We're opening up our eyes and our ears to creativity and everything that is around us. And with one foot in front of us, we're going to do some circular motions behind, back, forward. We're going to repeat this many times. We're going to move and flow the energy around us. So we cleanse it and we breathe in new light, new air, new creation. Because Qigong is about moving energy not just within us, but surrounding us. With movement and intent. Now, stop with those hands in front of you and bring that flow to you and do a reverse movement. Bringing it to you. Okay, then you're going to switch feet, put your pressure on the other foot, and the same motion, we're going to clear the air to the other side. So all is clear around you. Clearing all around you. And not forgetting to breathe. And with those hands in front of you, reverse. And one more time. And we're coming back to center. And you're going to take your two hands and point your palms in one direction and move towards that direction. And then point your palms the other way and move towards the other direction. Kind of in a Tai Chi movement. Not only are we imagining creativity flowing, but we're also imagining building our own physical health. We're moving. Our circulation, our nervous system, our limbic system. All of our organs. Just imagine them all flowing without any stuck energy. Those red cells turning redder. Those arteries pumping appropriately. The stomach churning as it should. Everything in working order. And we're going to come back to center. And with our hands together, we're going to slowly make about 6 circles, gradually getting larger and larger. Expanding, life, spirit, consciousness, love. And one more circle, and once you reach the top of the circle, let's pause. And we're going to go the other way, making that circle smaller and smaller. Concentrating that towards your core. And stop at center. And then take both hands at belly level. Palm towards your belly, the other palm towards the other hand. And we're going to move our hands up and down in a circle. Hands coming towards you, each hand taking a turn, coming towards you. Like a paddle wheel. It has water at the top, and as it comes down, it's flowing it to you. Warm, beautiful water, energy flowing up and down your spine. And breathing. And we're going to stop back at the belly. Going to open our hands. Make a little ball around maybe any energy that you've harvested. So you've got some energy now with which to give. You're full of light and love, but let's harness some of that chi in this ball. And hold on to that ball, give it love, and slowly raise your arms holding that ball and give it to the universe. Wishing it well on its journey to create beauty in the world and beyond. And we're going to slowly bring our hands towards us and our heart. And I invite you to have a seat for our guided meditation. So some deep breaths. And as you breathe in light and air and energy through your nose and imagine it going down your lungs and through your circulatory system, warming you up and lighting you up. Lighting you up with energy and love. And with the next breath, same thing. Breathe it in, but also imagine that light surrounding the outside of your body. In safety, in light, and in love. And with your left hand, imagine your ancestors and all who have contributed to your life. Imagine that hand holding and bringing in and being a receptacle for all of that light and love and knowledge that has come your way. And be in gratitude with that. Acknowledge it. Thank all. For helping you on your journey. And have that assimilate within you, within that light that's already in you and around you. Have that assimilate even more. And with your right hand, imagine future generations. Could be your children, could be people not yet born, could be individuals you don't know. But the future. And pass some of this great, great juju from the ancestors through you to that new generation. And imagine how much energy that creates. And now imagine that big ball of energy that all of you have created, and imagine it expanding outside of here, outside of the state, the country, the world, in healing, in peace, in creativity. And sit here in silence for a moment.
Now I've been happy lately, thinking about good things to come. And I believe it could be something good has begun.
Oh, I've been smiling lately, dreaming about the world as one. And I believe it could be someday it's gonna come.
'Cause I'm on the edge of darkness, there rides the peace train. Oh, peace train, take this country, come take me home again.
Now I've been smiling lately, thinking about the good things to come. And I
crying lately, thinking about the world as it is. Why must we go on hating? Why can't we live in bliss? Peace train sounding loud, light on the peace train. Ooh, ah, ee, ah, ooh. Come on, peace train. Peace train, holy road. Everyone jump upon the peace train. Ooh, ah, ee, ah, ooh. Come on, come on, come on.
Come on and ride on the peace train.
Ooh, ah, ee, ah, ooh. Come on, come on, come on. Let's come on, peace train.
Come on, come on, come on. Peace train.
Come on, join me. I'm jumping on the peace train. Come on, peace train.
So here we stand this Thanksgiving week in gratitude. Gratitude for life on this very earth. Gratitude for an open culture, the creativity in our veins, and all that we have. And may the positive energy that is in this circle radiate out to the rest of the world in light and love. And as we meet other people outside of here today, let us radiate that to each and every person we meet. Aho. Thank you.